asked you guys to keep lambda is equal to 1. The reason is, okay, since the topic has come, now let us go to the this particular diagram. All of you are able to see the diagram, right? If you see here, this particular lines, the lines that are given here, the lambda value actually is going to determine the slope of the curve. Okay. So there are some other things, depending on the lambda, the slope of curve will be determined. So that points we will be discussing little later once you know it. So right now, my suggestion to everyone is that follow just the typical the problems that what were solved. Now let us continue our interaction. So today we will discuss the neural network architectures. Again, if you notice, the different books will carry different varieties of architectures. Okay, and essentially these architectures are, one is feed forward neural network architecture. Then you have feedback neural network architecture. Under that, under the feedback, you have recurrent, you have competitive, like this. There are various network architectures. Now, if you actually wanted to know what is typically an architecture, it is all about arrangement of, okay, it is all about arrangement of your neurons, number one. Then arrangement of neurons in different layers. Okay, so you have input layer, that means you have input layer, you have hidden layer, and you have output layer. Now, obviously you have one input layer, you have only one output layer, but you may be having many hidden layers. Okay, so what is typically architecture is about arrangement of neurons, number one, arrangement of neurons in different layers, and arrangement of this of input, hidden, and output, and how your activation is propagated. Okay. In the case of feed forward neural network, what happens? Your network gets propagated from input layer to the hidden layers, and from hidden layers it gets propagated to output layer. This is feed forward neural network. Okay, remember, there is in the feed forward neural network itself, there is a network called back propagation neural network. Back propagation neural network is also a feed forward neural network that we will be discussing a little later. There is a difference between back propagation neural network and feedback neural network. Now let us see feedback neural network. What happens in the feedback neural network is, your input goes from input, activation goes from input layer to the hidden layer. Okay, so I will write it as feedback. So your input activation propagates from input layer to the hidden layer, and from hidden layer to the output layer. Then what happens? There is a feedback in terms of your output is given as input. Okay, this is called feedback. Okay, so input activation, how it is getting propagated? Input to hidden, hidden to output, and again output to input. That means when you take, imagine at say at t instance of time, imagine you are having output. So that means y of t, you are having an output. So this y of t is going to influence x of t plus delta That means at an instance of time delta, whatever is the input, that is going to be getting influence from y of t. Is that clear? Is this notation clear?
Yes, sir.
So at an instant time t, you are having an output, then the input at a delta, t plus delta, would get influenced by the output at yt. Okay, so this is called feedback neural network. Okay, this is about activation. Okay, now in terms of your layers, how they are adjusted depends upon that. You have recurrent neural network, you have computative neural network, etc. and all that. Okay, so but you will see based on this fundamental philosophy, what I have mentioned here is only a fundamental. Okay, based on this fundamental philosophy, we have varieties of network architectures. Okay, but you will see that uh, you will see that bottom line, these are all follow either feed forward or you will have feedback. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Now let us see a couple of network architectures. Okay, uh, you can see in the screen. I'm going to display the image. The image shows some, I'm not saying all, but some varieties of network architectures. So you can notice this is single layer feed forward neural network. In the sense, from input to output, activation is getting propagated. Now this is multi-layer feed forward. That means you have a hidden layer, you have a hidden input layer, you have a hidden layer, and you have output layer. Activation again is getting propagated in the forward direction. Now you look at the networks given in the the second row. If you notice the connections, they are in the reverse also. Are you able to see that the arrows? Are you able to see the arrows?
Yes, sir.
Similarly, you see the arrows in the another model. You have an input, you have the output. Now, output of this particular neuron is influencing other neurons. Okay, so this is called computative network. So it is all about the way the networks, the way your networks are arranged, the way your activation is getting propagated, the way your your neurons are arranged in the form of layers, how many layers you are having, whether it is a single layer or multi-layer, the way your activation is getting propagated in the forward direction or in the backward direction. So, and at which layer is your activation is getting influenced. So take an example, in the case of computative net, output is influencing the other node output. Okay, one output of one node is influencing the output of other node. So like that, you have different network architectures. So down the line, we will be discussing these things. Okay. Now we will continue with one of the. So first of all, we have learned Fitts model, right? Fitts model is a simple network. Now today, let us learn Hebbian learning tool. Okay. So now let us go to the learning rule. We have said essentially what is meant by learning. What is meant by learning in the neural network?
High connection rate.
Yes, please.
We are not audible. there is lot of Sir, you are not audible.
Sir, only noise is audible. Sir.
Hello? Audible or not?
Sir, you are not audible.
So there's a lot of disturbance. So there is a lot of static coming from your mic. Sir.
Am I audible now? Am I audible? Am I audible?
No, sir, you are not with that one.
Hello?
They are not audible.
I'm not audible? Am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, okay. Now, anyway, I'm sorry for the confusion. And is there a noise now?
Yes, sir.
No,
Not
sir.
a disturbance.
It's fine.
No, sir. Now it's clear.
Now it's clear,
Okay.
sir.
No, I don't know. In fact, see, I just logged out and logged in. That's it. I have not done anything. Anyway, so let us come back to the Hebbian learning rule. So what is meant by learning in the neural network?
Finding connection with.
Sorry?
So it's like a type of like we have supervised, unsupervised, and recurrent. Like that
Yeah,
is a type.
yeah, these are all the types. But what is meant by learning?
Connection weight finding.
Finding the connection weights. Exactly. So that means let us see what is meant by learning, especially Hebbian learning rule. From that, we will try to understand what is the learning. The Hebbian learning rule says adjust the connection weights. That means modify the connection weights using this particular formula. The new connection weights are modified as the old connection weights plus a learning constant C, then output yi, then your cumulative net input at node j. Okay. So for all j is equal to 1, 2, so on n. This is the connection weight modification formula. You can write the same formula in a different way as the new connection weight at the instant t plus 1 is equal to old connection weight at the instance t. That means wt plus 1 is equal to wt. Okay, let me write clearly. Wt plus 1 is equal to Wt plus C, the learning constant, f of your weight transpose into your x into your xj for all j is equal to 1 to n. Okay, this is what is Hebbian learning rule. We will let us understand what is this rule and what actually how you are going to perform the weight updation. Imagine you are having a neuron. Okay, the neuron is producing an output of y, and the neuron is having the connection say 1, 2, and 3. So x1, x2, and x3. So obviously you have 1, 2, and 3 connection weights. So okay, imagine that you have say for our understanding purpose you have 4 inputs. So obviously you have 4 connections. So I'm writing the input as in the form of a matrix. Capital X is equal to x1, x2, x3, and x4 in the form of a column vector, column matrix. Okay. Similarly, I am writing the initial connection weights. That means the W1, W2, W3 are 1, -1, 0, 0.5. Imagine that you have 4 inputs and corresponding connection weights. You have activation output, that is y, and your connection inputs and connection weights are represented in the form of a columnar matrices. Is that clear? Just we have given a kind of a problem scenario. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Now let us see what happens with the case of Hebbian learning rule. Imagine I have my inputs x1, x2, and so take an example, I have x3. Totally 3 inputs I have. Okay. Now, what does it mean? My x1 is equal to 1 minus 2, 1.5 and 0. X2 is 1 minus 0.5 minus 2 and minus 1.5. Okay. Now my third input x3 is 0, 1 minus 1, 1.5. I hope all of you have noted this. Have you noted?
Yes, sir.
Now let us see how the Hebbian rule works. Before we proceed to the Hebbian rule, we need to understand a couple of things. How many neurons are there as input? Sorry, how many connections are there as an input? You have only one neuron. You have only one neuron. That neuron is receiving how many inputs?
4.
X1, X2, X3, X4. Okay. How many inputs you have? I have 3 inputs. X1, X1, X2, X3. Neuron is receiving 4 connection inputs. What does this mean? You need to understand it here. That means you can regard your capital X as objects and your small x's, that means x1, x2, x3, x4 as the corresponding object features. Are you able to follow? Are you
Yes,
able to follow? So that means object capital X1 has 4 features: small x1, small x2, small x3 and small x4. Similarly, second object is also having 4 features. Third object is also having 4 features. What you are actually doing is you are training this neuron to learn these objects with their features. When I'm saying you are learning or you are training the network, you are actually trying to adjust the connection weights. Okay. Now, how the training goes is, all of you please listen very carefully. How the training goes or how the learning goes is, you submit x1. Okay. When I say you submit x1, what you are giving the inputs? You are giving 1 minus 2, 1.50 as input. Okay. So x1 is going to be 1, x2 is going to be minus 2, x3 is going to be 1.5 and your x4 is going to be 0. Okay. Now you have your initial connection weights. What are the initial connection weights given? 1, minus 1, 0 and 0.5. Is that clear so far, whatever we are discussing?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Now what you do is you calculate what is the y value for given capital X1. Okay, that is your y. And what is your net? What is your net? What is your net?
So it was the summation of inputs.
Exactly. Your total input that is coming to the neuron is your net. So you have your y, you have your net. Now, how the new weights are you are going to calculate? The new weights are old weight plus some learning constant. For time being, let us take this learning constant as 1. C is equal to 1. So obviously, what you are going to have is old weight plus output into the net input. Okay. So how I am going to modify this connection weight is old weight, that means 1 plus output and net input. That I am going to modify W1. Then I'm going to modify W2. Then I'm going to modify W3. Then I'm going to modify W4. Once I modify all this, I'm going to get a new weight matrix. With the new weight matrix, I'm going to apply the next input, that is X2. Are you able to follow what I'm discussing?
Yes, sir.
I have modified the connection weights. So first what I have done, I have provided the input X1, calculated the net input, calculated the activation, modified the connection weights as per this particular formula, which is the Hebbian learning rule. Then I am applying my second input, that is capital X2. When I apply capital X2, again I calculate my net input, I calculate Y, then I will modify again my weight matrix. Once I do that, I submit my third input. This is the process of learning. Okay, this is the process of learning. So what I have narrated, the learning process, you will find in learning algorithms. So what differs the learning algorithms? Your learning rule differs. One algorithm differs with another algorithm the way you are modifying the connection weight. But rest of the process is same in the sense that what you do is typically a learning algorithm. If you see any learning algorithm, it follows this structure. Okay. What is the structure that typical learning algorithm follows? Number one, so any learning algorithm is that first one is you have to initialize connection weights to random values. Okay. Then the second step is you take inputs. So X1, 2, so on. For each input, what you do, you calculate activations, net input. Okay, in fact, net input and then activation. Okay, then you calculate outputs at different nodes. Then what you do, you modify connection weights. Then go to step 2. It is an iterative process where for every input you are modifying the connection weight. Are you able to follow?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let us go back to the problem what we have taken for the Hebbian learning rule. I have asked you guys to note down the values. So let us see how the Hebbian learning rule works for this particular the example, okay, or the case. So what you are doing is you have given with 3 inputs, that is capital X1, capital X2, capital X3, and you have your connection weights, initial connection weights. What are the initial connection weights given? Can somebody tell me 1 minus 1?
1 minus 1, 0 and 0.5.
Okay. So what I'm doing is at the step 1, submit x1. Calculate net input and output, and tell me what is net input. What is the net input? All of you have noted the x1, right?
Yes, sir.
What is x1? 1
minus 2, 1.5 and 0.
Yeah, tell me the net input to the neuron. You have only single neuron.
Three.
Okay, net input is 3. Now tell me what is the output.
Sir, which activation function?
Yeah, so please use binary bipolar.
1.
Okay, now what is that you are going to do? The new connection weights are old connection weights plus some learning constant. Okay, let us say C is equal to 1. C into, what is the rule we said? C into your output, that is let me write it as output, and let me write it as your input. Okay, output, and remember this is input, this is not net input, this is input. That means when I am modifying connection of this particular input, that means the first neuron, first connection, I am considering this particular connection weight and corresponding connection input. Okay, now tell me how you are going to modify this particular connection. That means small x1, x1, x2, x3, and x4. What is the old connection weight for the, okay, what is the old connection weight for x1 connection, small x1? It is 1 plus learning constant is 1. What is the actual output? 1.
1.
And what is the input?
1.
Okay, this would be the new connection weight, new weight, okay, for that particular connection. Okay, so W is equal to, what is the value? What is the value? In the similar manner, please tell me the new connection weights for -1. So what will happen? -1 plus learning constant 1, output is 1, input is, what is the input?
-2.
Yeah, tell me the new connection weight.
1.
Please check and tell
Sir,
me.
I'm getting
Minus
2.
1.
See, my 1.5 and 0.5.
1.5
and 0.5.
So now you have new connection weights. Then what you are going to do is go to the step 2. Okay. Submit x2. Calculate net input, output. Then modify each connection weight. Now tell me what is the new weight matrix you get. What is the new weight matrix you get? Okay. Yes, please. Something like 1 minus 2.5, 3.5, and 2. Okay. Then what you do next is step 3. Submit X3, calculate net input, output, modify weights. Okay. And then if you do that, you get a new weight matrix. W, capital W, is something like 1 minus 3.5, 4.5, and somewhere around 0.5. Okay. Okay.
So in step 1, the last connection which is 0.5 is.
Yeah, it's 0.5. When I work out it is like that. So anyway, so you please do the corrections if there are any things. So do the calculations. Now this is how your weight modification process proceeds. There are so many things we need to discuss here. Now the point is, this particular Hebbian learning works in the way that what we have discussed in the previous sheet, where you are modifying the connection weight as the old connection weight plus a learning constant into actual output and the input. Okay. Yeah, and the input. So it's not net, actually it is input. Okay. So now the point is, this is regarded as number 1, unsupervised learning rule. Okay, this is unsupervised learning rule. So all of you please correct this one. This is X. Okay, though I have written here X, I have written here as net. It is actually X. When I say X, it is the that particular feature. Okay, so input at that particular connection. So it's not net input. It is input at that particular connection. Okay. Now the point is, Hebbian learning rule is regarded as an unsupervised learning rule. What does it mean? It means the unsupervised learning do not have a particular parameter called target parameter. Okay, there is no target parameter, which is going to be there in the supervised learning rule, which we will be discussing in the next class. So there is no parameter called target that is there in the learning rule. So a learning rule without a target is unsupervised learning rule. That is one thing which you need to understand. Number 1. Number 2 is the way we are proceeding. We are taking the input, submitting the input, and initially we are assigning the random values to the connection weights. And during the process, what we are doing is we are submitting the input. Once we submit the input, depending on the kind of activation function we are applying, we are getting an output. Once we get an output, we are modifying the connection weights using the learning rule of that particular model. In this case, the Hebbian learning rule has been defined and we are following that learning rule. We have understood the process, that means the steps that we do while doing the learning process. Remember, in case of a supervised learning, what happen is your step 1, step 2, step 3 that will continue. Okay, it goes in iterative manner. That means once you complete step 3, that means we have finished one round of operation. We have finished X1, we have finished X2, we have finished X3. That means we have finished one iteration is completed. Okay, one iteration is completed. Submitting X1 is generally regarded as one epoch. Epoch 1, epoch 2, epoch 3. You have totally 3 inputs. With 3 epochs, your one iteration is completed. Now your learning process involves multiple iterations. Okay. Learning process involves multiple iterations. How many iterations I need to make? When to stop? Okay. Are you able to follow what I'm discussing?
Yes, sir.
The questions I'm asking are having some meaning? Do you find some logic? You know, these are the questions, right, that we get. Is it that I keep doing this learning process? When I should stop? When my network gets learned? When I say that my learning is complete? When do I stop this wait updation process? Okay, these are the questions that we would be discussing it in the next class. But in the meantime, what I suggest you guys is to submit this particular problem with unipolar continuous activation. Similarly, bipolar continuous activation. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please solve that and then try to submit it so that you will understand the the typical process that is there in the learning. And then we will discuss these aspects of learning, especially how many iterations we need to do like this, when to stop, when I say that my learning is complete. All these things we will be discussing in the next class. Okay, and also we will discuss another